Congratulations. We are so excited you decided to become a Hokie and can't wait to welcome you to VT. My name is Sean Grube, and I'm the Director of Housing and Residence Life at Virginia Tech. Our goal is that you have an amazing experience at VT, and that starts with move-in day. We thought you'd like to know what you can expect.
Congratulations! Your extraordinary VT experience begins with move-in day. Here's what you'll need to know. Before move-in day, look for a letter in the mail from us. Inside, you'll find your Hokie passport and 3 wristbands. 1 for you, and 2 for the other folks assisting you. Remember, you should only bring 2 other people with you to help you move in this year. A couple of days before your move-in time slot, we'll email you a parking pass and a link to your individualized move-in instructions. Please print the parking pass and bring it with you. You're welcome to print the instructions out and bring them with you as well, or just head to housing.vt.edu/moving. Tap on the residence hall you'll be moving into, and keep that page handy on your phone. Finally, remember that you and your 2 helpers will be required to wear a mask throughout move-in day. All right, today's the day. Grab your Hokie passport, wristbands, parking pass, move-in instructions, and masks, and head to Blacksburg. Follow the instructions on your individualized move-in map. Depending on which building you're moving into, you'll either need to take the Southgate exit off of US 460, or you'll need to take the downtown Prices Fork exit. Each residence hall has 1 or multiple designated parking lots for you to park in and unload. Follow the map to get to yours. Now that you're on campus, look for the nearest Hokie Helper tent. There will be one in or near your parking lot. They'll greet you, welcome you to campus, and give you a sanitized cart for your belongings. They're also there to answer any questions you might have. Then, you can unload your car and head straight to your room. In previous years, you'd need to check in at a centralized location, but not this year. When you swipe in to access your room, you'll automatically be checked into our system. Now remember, to access your room, you'll need 2 things: your Hokie passport and your PIN number, which will be emailed to you prior to move-in. Now it's time to unpack and get settled. We're sure your 2-hour time slot will fly by, so be sure to keep an eye on the time. Once your time slot is over, please move your car. And that's it. We can't wait to see you soon.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our move-in info session. I hope that you enjoyed the video we just showed you with the beautiful bald man. We got a little bit of time to spend with you, roughly about an hour or so, and we want to just talk about all things move-in. We thank you again for joining us, and if you have questions, we've already received some, and we hope to kind of go through those tonight. But if you do have questions, you can submit them to housing.vt.edu/move-in Q&A, and we'll hope to get to those. If we aren't able to get to them this evening, then we will also try to address that at our website. So at this time, we will introduce our panelists, and we will start with Sean.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Sean Grube, coming back to you as Director of Ball and Beautiful Affairs here at Virginia Tech, also serving as the Director of Housing and Residence Life. So I have been at Tech for about a year, and we cannot wait to see you on campus in just a few days.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chelsea Lambusta. I'm the Associate Director of Housing Services, and we are so excited to welcome you in just a few days over the next 10 days of move-in. We can't wait to have you on campus.
And hello, everyone. My name is Chad Zoller. I am the Assistant Director for Transitions within New Student and Family Programs, and we're here to also answer any questions you may have about Welcome Week or the events and programs that will be available to you once you move onto campus.
All right, so like I said, we have a lot to cover, and thank you all for submitting questions. I failed to share that if we don't get to your question, you can actually find this information that we shared today and hopefully updated information in an ongoing way at our website, housing.vt.edu/move-in. So with that being said, we will kind of jump into our first question, which is for Sean. And this is really about heading to Blacksburg and coming to campus. So someone was sharing, if I arrive early on my testing time slot before my move-in time, can I park in my assigned lot at move-in early?
Man, Kendall, you start with the hard ones.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna talk about it.
That's right. We got to get real. Yes, we are very excited to have you here. And I know our eager beavers like to get here early and kind of scope things out. But I will tell you, this process is a really coordinated process. So the lots are going to be closed down between move-in shifts in order for us to get that ready for our next group of students to come. So the short answer is no, you will not be allowed into the lot to move in early. So our wonderful associate director, Chelsea, has worked to make sure that you're able to get into your room right at your move-in time slot. But she's kind of mean, and so she won't let you in early. So if you show up early, you won't actually be able to get into your room. So your access does not turn on until your move-in time slot. So she's not really that mean. She's just kind of mean. But it is really important that we all follow our move-in time slot. And so we just ask to make sure that you come in during the assigned time.
Thank you for that. And hopefully Chelsea can redeem herself in questions that come up. So folks are really, you talked about the process and us wanting to make sure that this is as efficient as possible. And folks are asking about wristbands and Hokie passports and what should they do if they haven't arrived yet. So we know that we sent some mailers out. Some might have not received them. How does that impact them at move-in?
Thanks, Kendall. Yeah, our wonderful staff mailed out about 9,000 total letters to students over the last 10 days or so. You know, the USPS is not perfect, so we have gotten a few of those back to us. But, you know, the move-in letter, the Hokie passport, and the wristbands were all mailed out, but there were a few reasons you might not have gotten it. So the first is if you had an international mailing address. So we couldn't obviously confirm that those would get there in time. So we have those still remaining on campus. We have some Hokies who didn't give us a mailing address. And so we still have their Hokie Ps with us. Or if the mailing address that was submitted was incorrectly entered. And so you know, the Hokie passports are really important pieces of identification. So we wanted to be 100% sure. And if we weren't able to confirm, then we kept those on campus. So the short answer is if they haven't been mailed, you will need to come to the Student Services building when you arrive to campus. That is on the corner of West Campus Drive and Washington Street. And they will have a line set up for everybody to be able to get in and get their ID. You can also stop by any of the tents in the parking lots to get any wristbands if you didn't get those. Long story short, we're gonna help take care of you. We're gonna get you all set up. You just might need to take one extra step in order for us to help you out.
Sounds good. So Chelsea, you're up. Folks are asking about parking and what it means to, you know, kind of get into where you got to go, drop your things and kind of move around. So first question for you is, when will I get my parking pass?
That's a great question, Kendall. So actually right after this, I plan to put my little one to sleep, and then I will be working on the parking passes, and I'll be sending those out tonight and tomorrow with the help of Ken Belcher. So we'll be getting those out tonight and tomorrow. Hopefully I'll start sending them around 7:30 tonight. You'll roughly half to as many as we can do. They will take hours to send out since it is an email with an attachment. So don't be worried if you don't instantly get it. It will send all throughout the night. Parking passes, once you get them, you'll print them and put them on your dash. So when you arrive for move-in, and the parking pass will be good for your time slot of move-in. So if your time slot is at 11 o'clock, your parking pass will be good from 11 to 1 on that day of your parking pass.
Got you. So if my residence hall, lists more than one unloading area, how does that work with your parking pass? Because I know you shared a second ago that it was valid for a certain time at a certain location. What do folks do when there are multiple unloading stations?
Yeah, so a few of the residence halls, we gave them a couple parking lots, and they will be listed on your parking pass, so you can go in order. And you can try the first one, and then if that one's full, you'll go to the second one, and then only a handful have 3, but most of them, if they have more than one, it is 2. So just check them out in the order on the parking pass, and you can also check out your map attached to the move-in website.
So you took me just right to my next question. It's as if you've seen these already. So you talked about having multiple passes. What do you do if folks have more than one car?
Okay, this is quite common for students to come with more than one car because mom and dad or friends or grandma, grandpa, whoever may be coming with you may bring a car, and then you may have a car that you want to bring and leave on campus. Completely normal. One of the cars, though, can go to the move-in parking lot. The other car will need to go to the student parking, which is called the Cage or Chicken Hill. So those are our outer lots. You can find those on the parking website. I highly recommend, though, that you get your parking pass before you park your car in the Cage or any other student-style parking. But our residents do park on the outer edges of campus, but that is completely fine and A-okay.
Awesome. So Sean, let us know that folks can arrive early, and even if they come before or their testing time is before their actual move-in time, what that would look like for them. We had another question about parking that referenced if your testing time slot is before your move-in's time slot, where should parents or folks bringing their student to town, where should they park while they're completing the test?
That's another great question. So for the COVID testing, parents, guests, whoever's with the student can park in the stadium resident lot, which is right next to where you'll go in for testing, or you can park right across the street at the Chicken Hill lot. So those are going to be our 2 areas for parking for during COVID testing.
Awesome. So for those that have never come to move in before, and families that are bringing back, old Hokies and new Hokies, we always love to have our alum back. So if you've been here, you know that move in, you see a sea of, maroon and orange, but you also recognize folks in blue shirts, and those are our Hokie Helpers. But that will be done a little bit different this year because of COVID-19. And folks are really curious about how will Hokie Helpers or the program, how would that look this year for move-in? And that's for Sean.
Thanks, Kendall. Well, as Kendall mentioned, a signature part of our program is Hokie Helpers. So you get to campus, you see these blue shirts, and they're the folks that run up to your car, help you unload, and get you up to your room. Obviously, COVID has brought a lot of changes to us, and one of those is to the Hokie Helper program. So the first thing to know is our Hokies will not be in blue shirts this year because we're not sending them out to help and have close contact with our students. We're practicing social distancing, practicing good hygiene habits. So first of all, they'll be in Virginia Tech gear. You will first see them when you get into the parking lot where you're parking your car. And so you'll see some tents set up. And really the job of the Hokie Helpers is to welcome you to campus, to tell you how excited we are to have you here, to answer any questions that you have, and then to help provide you some of the resources to move in. So if you forgot something, if you are unsure about your move-in map, all those types of things, we can help you. But one of the most important things that they're going to do is provide you a move-in cart, and it'll be a sanitized move-in cart. So right as you come and pick up that cart, we'll be spraying that down for you. Make sure that you've got a good cart to go get your belongings into your residence halls. And then afterwards, we just ask you that you return your cart back to our helper tent. And so that way we can sanitize it and get it ready for the next group. And so again, some of those tents will both have printed maps in case you have any questions, hand sanitizer. We will also have bottled water. So that's one thing I just do want to draw everyone's attention to. This is also Chelsea's fault. You'll find that she makes quite a few mistakes. I'm just kidding. It wasn't actually her fault. But we are going to have water at our Hokie Helper tents instead of in your room this year. So you'll be able to grab that on the way in. Again, those will be removed right from the package and provide to you. You can also, of course, bring a water bottle and then fill those up at our bubbler stations inside. But we will have water available at the move-in tents.
Awesome. And I want to say that you mentioned this, but I want to maybe ask the question again in case, we need to reiterate it, that Hokie Helpers are typically folks that come and help you get moved in. Will that still be the case this year, or what could they actually assist movers with?
Yeah, thank you, Kendall. Yeah, the biggest change to the program is Hokie Helpers are not actually going to help people move in this year. So really they're focused on the greeting and the welcome to campus and making sure that you have the equipment you need to help get moved in. So again, because of social distancing, we have a number of folks in the community that want to come welcome our students to campus, but obviously are also concerned with just being close to folks and, potentially exposing themselves. So we want to make sure that we are safe, that we provide you the good move-in materials that you need to be successful, but they will not actually be helping students move in this year.
Awesome. Thank you for that clarification. So, folks have made it to campus. They have, met with our Hokie Helpers. They got the tools that they need, and now they are actually moving into and around our residence halls. So these questions are for Chelsea. So folks know that, they have their individual time slot, but they might actually be moving in around the same time that their roommate moves in, or that they're in the space already. So first question is, do I need to leave while my roommate is moving in?
That is a question we are getting a lot in the housing inbox and through the front line. No, you do not need to leave while your roommate moves in. Some people might want to help their roommate move in, and that's A-okay too. You're welcome to leave the space if you want to when your roommate moves in, but that's completely a preference choice of yours and whatever you would like to do.
Awesome. And kind of getting around the building, flow of traffic in spaces. We've seen it around stores and other local businesses that have this kind of, unidirectional kind of signage. So will there be anything like that folks can anticipate in the residence halls that kind of direct them as to where they ought to go?
Yes. So in our residence halls, some of the stairwells are going to be marked for going up, and some are going to be marked for going down to help with the traffic flow and to help with social distancing practices. Another thing we've put in place is for our residence halls with elevators, we're only going to allow one family unit per elevator. So it would be the student and their guest in the elevator at that time, and no one else should be in the elevator with them. So those are the two things that we are doing in the halls to help with directions and to help with social distancing practices.
Awesome. And, we're moving in, and if you're like me, you get hot quick and you need to refresh at some point. We've already talked about how Hokie Helpers will have water outside, but folks are also seeing, around the country where water fountains and things like that are being kind of shut off. And so we also had a question about what is happening with our water filling stations and or our water fountains in halls.
Yes. So water. Great. It's a great question and something I'm also interested in. So the water filling for the water bottles will be available. So you can push the button and put your water bottle underneath and fill it. Some of them are sensor based, so you don't even have to push a button and it will just fill up and then stop when it's full. But the actual bubbler, the one where you push the button and put your mouth towards, that is not going to be available. Those are all turned off and disconnected. So if you do push those and it doesn't flow, that is completely normal and what we want it to do. But the water bottle filling stations will definitely be available and open for all of our residents and their guests.
So you heard it, folks. You need to bring your water bottle for move-in. So we're continuing in the move-in, and folks have gotten water and they've done all the things, right? Parents may have left, and students are curious about whether or not they can visit friends. You live in a residence hall, you're going to be in a community. Folks want to know, what does, interaction with, roommates and things like that, and or friends that might be in the hall. How do they go about that?
Yes. So yes, you can visit your friends as long as you're practicing social distancing and wearing a mask and maintaining 6 feet and all of those good things, washing your hands. Something to also think about though is residence hall rooms can only fit a certain amount of people in them at a socially distanced space. So make sure you stay socially distanced within the residence hall rooms. We also have lounges and hallways and outdoor space. But yes, you can definitely visit. Another thing to always consider is your roommate. You want to check with your roommate and see if your roommate's comfortable with you having your friends over, because that might determine whether you need to meet your friends outside the residence hall or at a dining facility or whatnot. But it's good to have those conversations with your roommate because you also may not be comfortable with your roommate's friends coming in. So have those conversations, have conversations with the people you want to visit with, make sure everyone's okay with it. And as long as everyone's practicing safe social distancing, it'll be completely okay.
Well, so you mentioned, folks being able to kind of connect outside of their room. And this kind of gets us into lounge spaces and kitchens and or outdoor space. So what, is available for folks to kind of meet outside of their residence hall room, and then what might be some of the rules and or guidelines for safety that folks want to be aware of?
Yes. So in the residence halls, we have kitchens and laundry rooms and lounges and different spaces like that. In those spaces where we have furniture, we have socially distanced the furniture and placed blue painter's tape down on the floor. It was me, myself, Ken Belcher, Daryl McCollum. Daryl did most of it. Shout out to Daryl. That walked every building, every lounge, and we moved furniture around. If there was too much furniture, we did remove some furniture from the space to help with social distancing. So those will be available. Some of our lounges will be locked if they did not have the ability to socially distance due to the shape or the furnishings or whatever it may be in it. Not majority of them are going to be open though. We have our kitchens. We've also socially distanced those and removed some of the bar stools and different things like that. So it's nice and comfortable. And then laundry rooms, same. They have seating and different things in them. We will have maximum occupancy signs on these spaces. So we just ask that all of our residents honor those signs and do not have more people in those spaces than what the sign indicates.
Thank you for that. So another common space that folks will kind of frequent is the laundry facilities. And so folks are asking the real questions, do you use pods? Do you use liquid? How does that whole thing work? And maybe even how do I pay to have my laundry done?
Yes, so you can load money on your Hokie Passport or you can use coins. And you can load money through the Laundry Web website. You can find that on the Hokie Passport website. It also is a link that will be in your assignments notice that I just sent out last week to you, and also in a move-in email that will be coming out to you in the near future. So that's where you can load it. That link, though, only works if you're on the Virginia Tech network. So just remember that if you're trying to log on to it, it will work once you're on campus. On that link, you also can reserve a machine. You can see if the machines are available. You can set up a notification for the machines to notify you when they're done. So that's another option for you if you don't want to sit and watch the machine spin in circles. You can set up the notification, pop down there when it's done. Pods or liquid, totally preference. I'll admit I'm a pods kind of gal for my clothes, but for my little one, I like liquid. So really whatever works for you, our machines take both. It even will take powder if you're into powder. So whatever your laundry preference is, you go for
it. Awesome. So people are curious about whether or not they'd be able to kind of get in touch with our staff in the event that something happens, because we've been talking about how we are physically distancing people and reducing interaction with folks as much as possible. How do folks get in touch with staff if they have questions or any concerns during move-in?
So during move-in, we're going to have tents that say "Ask Me," so you can go over to them and talk to those. My office will also be open. New Hall West, Suite 144 is the main housing residence life office. So we will have a team of people in there to answer any of your questions. We are asking though, if you're entering the residence halls to come into the offices, please make sure you wear a mask. Outside, we also ask that you wear a mask if you are close to staff asking questions. But we will have tents marked with those question signs, and definitely staff will be out and about walking. So if you see an RA when you're walking the halls, you can definitely ask them, or a building coordinator. They'll typically be wearing Virginia Tech gear, and a coordinator will be wearing a name tag. So those are just some other options for you on how to find someone. You also are welcome to call 540-231-6205 or email housing@vt.edu. We will have staff monitoring both the phones all day and the inbox.
Awesome. So thank you for that. Speaking of move-in, we had talked a little bit earlier about how efficient we are and that folks have to come during their allotted time slot. So this question goes back to Sean. Should someone kind of arrive after their time slot or after move-in? Like, can families walk around? What are the things that folks need to know around whether or not they can kind of go out and be about on campus?
Yeah, thank you, Kendall. So, the traditional experience is you bring your student to campus, you take, after you move in, you take them out to dinner, maybe you're making a Target run, all those things. And that, we understand that's a really important part of what people think about with move-in. But I think the thing that we all have to remember is that things are different this year. We know that move-in for us is usually a few days, and now it's 10 days. We can't gather like we needed to do. And so I know it's not ideal, but we do need to ask families to leave once they drop their student off on campus. So, it's difficult. It's different for sure. But we are asking that as soon as that 2-hour time slot is out, that families are departing campus. So it's important to us. And again, I know it's different, but we will be asking people to leave.
Awesome. And speaking of leaving, students, have asked, once I got here and I dropped my things off, am I able to go back home until, school starts and then return? If they have classes on campus or things like that, can they go back and forth traveling from home?
So again, I think I'm going to give everyone an unpopular answer here. But again, this is our commitment to our students here. So our biggest risk is when people continue to travel after they get to Blacksburg. So, as I'm thinking about it, is we are dropping a big old bubble over Blacksburg as soon as our students get here. And so, we want students to stay. There could be an emergency situation where people might have to leave, but we really want to avoid that at all costs. So, one of the things that we are discussing is what our quarantine protocols are if a student does travel, particularly if they travel to a hotspot. And I think that's something that we're going to continue to have to navigate. So the short answer is, once you come to Blacksburg, we want you to stay in Blacksburg.
And one last question, and this one I think would probably be something I was interested. Well, definitely my parents would be interested in this because we like to eat. We know that we have some of the finest dining on the university campus in the country, and folks are really curious about whether or not parents or family that come and drop their students off are able to eat in our dining halls.
Thanks, Kendall. So again, I have to give you the unpopular answer here, but they won't even let me eat in the dining halls. Do you believe that? I live, or work, I should say, right next door to one of the most fantastic spots on campus. And this year, in order to serve our on-campus students, no one but on-campus students can use our dining facilities. And that breaks my heart because I'm actually going to have to pack my own food this year. No one but on-campus students can eat in our dining halls. That does include parents who are bringing their students to campus.
Sweet. So now that folks are kind of, in place, and you just told them that they can't go travel, they have to be here. I'm pretty sure the folks are wondering, what can I do while I'm here, given, all that's kind of going on. And so this question is for you, Chad. What does Welcome Week like? What does it look like, and what kind of things can students expect to be able to get involved with once they get settled?
Absolutely. So given COVID, we've had to really adapt what Welcome Week will look like for Welcome Week 2020. And so in order to increase the amount of social distancing, but also the safety and security of all campus participants, we've really tried to expand and create a robust virtual and less so in person, but maybe more hybrid events. So while students are maybe getting tested and waiting for events, we have a list of on-demand events that don't happen at a specific time or date, but are a variety of things that students can log on and participate in, or potentially do by themselves in the security of their residence hall, or potentially out in campus environment by themselves. So there's a list on our Hokies on Track app, and that is where I want to direct all new students for. If you're wondering what's happening for Welcome Week, going to the Hokies on Track app. So going to your app store, whether that be on Apple or Android, searching in Hokies on Track, downloading our My First Year or My Transfer First Year guide, and you'll be able to see all the events, when they're happening, the links or the registration requirements for those specific links. But just to go over a few of those types of events, like we mentioned, we have some on-demand events. We have a variety of virtual events that will be happening throughout from the start of moving into the first couple of weeks of the semester. We have a few socially distanced in-person programs that we're launching and feeling confident in being able to increase social distancing. Masks will be required, as well as hand sanitization stations. So we feel very confident that we'll be able to have those programs safely, with a few of our larger scale events that you can see on the app as well.
Sweet. And that also applies for students, since we've kind of expanded move-in over 10 days, that there's a great amount of time that a student could be here in between typically when Welcome Week would occur. So are there events for them that they can get involved with as well?
Yes, so starting this Friday, we start off with a few virtual events leading into the weekend, and we start to add on more and more events as we get closer to the start of classes, as we know more students will be on campus. So trying to make sure there's always a variety of things that could interest different students to participate in, and making sure we're using our resources efficiently to make sure there's always something happening throughout the day that may be of interest, depending on what your interests, hobbies, or things you want to maybe get involved in on campus.
Cool. And can you remind everyone of where they should go again to kind of see where programs are and how they can kind of get going with things?
Absolutely. So our main way for communication is our Hokies on Track guidebook app. You might have already been privy to this app using our summer orientation experience, but we really utilize it during our Welcome Week because we're able to make up-to-date, timely changes, as well as add events as they continue to be formalized. But for the most part, our schedule is very finalized, so you will see a lot of events already up on them, and you're able to just swipe through day to day and create your own schedule for what interests you. And so that way you'll get reminders within the app, and you can see exactly what the parameters for the events are, if there's registration required, and you're able to start doing that today, even right now, looking through and building your Welcome Week schedule on the app, and then seeing what's available to you as it continues to unfold as we go into the move-in process.
All right, thanks, Chad. Chelsea, I'm coming back to you with some more questions about folks being able to kind of organize their space and utilize as much of the space as possible. So the question for the day is, can I loft my bed, and do I need to bring a loft kit in order to loft it?
Oh, okay. Yes, you can loft your bed. In all of the buildings that we are able to do that, we have provided loft kits in those spaces, so no, you don't need to bring your own. The only spaces that do not have those are in Johnson Brown, which is also known as the Graduate Life Center, in any of the rooms that are singles. And then Slusher, there are some of the rooms that have a bulkhead across it that do not allow lofting. But every other space on campus does have the lofting capability and a loft kit in the room. It's definitely an awesome way to maximize on space and opportunities within the room.
Awesome. And Sean, folks typically, do rentals and they get that from, RHF for like hutches and stuff like that. If folks have rented from RHF vendors, such as, the micro fridges or the rugs and things like I shared, how do they get their items? And if there's a problem with an item that they've received, or they don't receive the item that they've ordered, like who should they contact? Where should they go? What should they do?
Thanks, Kendall. Well, we've got some really awesome vendors this year who have worked to get things either mailed to you or put in rooms in advance. So that's really exciting. A lot of the folks who have ordered our linen package have already had those mailed to them. And so, that'll make the process easier than what we've had in the past. And so if there's any kind of problem with your rental order, then all you'll have to do is just contact the vendor directly. So you will have gotten the email from our Residence Hall Federation. I should have probably explained that a little bit earlier. But RHF, our Residence Hall Federation, are the ones that help coordinate our vendors on campus. And so you'll be able to just refer to that email to contact the vendor. And we've got some great partners who will help make everything right if there are any problems.
Something else I would like to add in about loft kits. You don't need tools to lock the beds or to delock them. We have a video on how to do this process under housing.vt.edu/move-in. And you can go down to the FAQs, and there's a video under Life on Campus about how to loft your bed. So you can click that and watch it. One of the easiest ways, though, to unlock your bed or loft your bed is to flip it over, and then the rack, hit it one time on the floor, and the rack will pop out. But that is definitely the way to go about it. Yeah, check out that video and check out that website to see all your move-in needs.
Awesome. You can kind of stay ready, Chelsea. I got some more questions for you. So with regards to mail, I typically see, folks send things ahead of time. And so folks are asking, can I mail things to myself before I move in? And if I do, how can I pick those packages up?
Yes, this is a very common practice for our students. So yes, you can mail packages or whatever you may need to yourself. Some students are ordering their books and different things like that. And we completely understand they may not get to your home in time before you come to campus. So the mail will be waiting for you. It's actually going to be organized in Lane Stadium in the west end zone, so adjacent to the testing area. And you'll go in through gate 6 of Lane Stadium, and you can go get your mail. You'll know your package is ready for you after you get an email. So it's very important to check your Virginia Tech email. You'll get an email that says, hey, you've got a package ready for pickup in Lane Stadium. You'll need to bring with you your Hokie passport. So since that's a government official ID, you have to show that to be able to pick up your mail. If you need to borrow a dolly, like say you order something large that you can't carry in your arms, or anything like that, you'll have to give them a government ID to borrow that dolly. So that could be a driver's license, or anything of that nature, a state issued ID. And then also they want you to bring your face mask. So face mask, a Hokie passport, and make sure you have an email that says your package is ready. Mail at Lane Stadium is going to be available from August 14th to August 23rd from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And again, it's going to be in the west end of Lane Stadium through gate 6. Some people are asking also about mailing addresses. So you're thinking, hey, I would love to order a package, but I don't even know where to send it. That's completely normal and okay. There's 2 ways to look this up. One is to go into the STARS portal. As soon as you log in, it's going to tell you your mailing address. The other option is you can go to the Residential Mail Services website, and they have a full address listing on the right-hand side of their website. So you can click on that. It will download a PDF to your computer or pop a PDF up, and you can see all of the options for mailing on campus. So you would put in your name, the street address, your room, and Blacksburg, Virginia, and the zip code, and you'll be good to go.
Sounds like a plan. So we have some more questions, and these center more a little bit on administrative processes and our contracts. And so first question is that, if a student's roommate canceled their contract, will they live alone, or will someone, kind of be moved in with them?
I am assuming that is for me. So that would depend on the needs of the occupancy in regards to campus. So some students may get a roommate before move-in, and others may not have a roommate at move-in if their roommate decides to defer a year or leave Virginia Tech or whatever it may be, take a co-op. So that does happen. That is normal, but we'll do our best to provide a roommate if we're able, but there are some times where it's a little late in the process and we don't have anyone to put in that space.
Yeah, Sean said he didn't want to answer, so I pitched it to you. But speaking of big in a individual space, can students request their own room? Can they request a single space?
So we only have 14 undergraduate singles across campus. Those are all taken right now. But there are some times in life where we allow single room buyouts and students that are in double occupancy rooms and have no roommates. That will also depend on the occupancy level of campus. That currently is not available at this time, but if that option becomes available for campus, we will notify the campus through a campus-wide email. So another reason why it's always important to check your Virginia Tech email. If that process becomes available, it will tell you how to request that option through the StarWiz portal, and we can process those in a first come, first served basis. That doesn't happen often here, but it is a possibility.
Thank you. So some folks are considering, their move down for the fall, and what if we get to a point where we are not as comfortable as we thought that we were, and we decided to cancel our contract for the fall. If that occurs, are people able to get housing for the spring, and how might that process work?
It's a wonderful question. So I sent out a campus-wide email last week to students notifying them about the housing contract release process. You are able to submit that process by the 14th at noon, and it will be a little bit more of a lenient process. After that point, we will be following our normal guidelines that we do follow for contract reviews. So if you decide you don't want to live on campus this fall, that is an option. In regards to spring housing, so if you do that option and it's approved, your housing's canceled for the whole year. But we will have a spring housing waitlist available to students in early October, and then we would notify students as soon as we are able to offer housing in regards to spring. There are some years where we offer off the waitlist for spring, and there's other years where you're not able to. So it all depends again on the occupancy levels at that point in time, but we will review those on a regular basis starting in October to prepare for the spring. We understand that some students may not be comfortable right now, and that's A-okay. So we're here for it, and we will have a wait list and hopefully be able to provide some housing to students in the spring.
And at the point of winter break arriving, folks are already preparing for the transition to, online instruction and things like that. So one of the questions that came up was, do I have to remove my belongings from my room over winter break, or can it stay for the spring semester?
Yes, so for students that decide to go home at Thanksgiving break and not come back to the spring, yes, you can leave your personal belongings in the room as long as you are returning to Virginia Tech in the spring. If you are not planning on returning to Virginia Tech in the spring, it is important to pack up all of your personal belongings and check out of your room at that time. But as long as you're planning on returning, that is completely fine. If your plans change at any point in time, it's important to notify my office, and we would work out a time for you to check out.
Sounds good. So coming back to Sean, these questions are centered around testing and what our protocols are for that. Will I have to be tested when I move in?
So yes, testing is mandatory. So this is a really important part of how we keep our Hokies safe, is by going ahead and doing the testing process. So all the folks that live on campus, including our student staff, are being tested. If you decide that you don't want to be tested, then unfortunately that means you can't live on campus. And we certainly don't want that. So the testing process is mandatory, and it's mandatory for our entire population.
And how do I know, when my testing time is?
Yeah, there are tons of questions that I know that are happening just around testing and the testing time. So, your testing time was assigned to you based on move-in and based on the testing capacity, and that is available in StarRez. And so that's where you'll be able to locate that. If you do have any questions, you can't locate it, then please go ahead and call our office. You can reach us at housing@vt.edu, or you can reach us at 540-231-6205, and we'll be able to help you navigate that. But again, it is mandatory that we have folks attend their testing session, and so we do need to make sure that folks are hitting that correct time.
Thank you for that, Sean. So you have been talking about our shared responsibility and, keeping one another safe and well. But we have a question that asks, in the event that a student tests positive with COVID-19, what is it that they should do and or what happens next?
So when the student tests positive, if at all possible, we are going to ask students to return home. And so, we want to try and keep our community as healthy as possible. So in all cases, we are going to recommend that students return home. Both our office, Housing and Residence Life, as well as our Dean of Students office will work with students for whom that is not an opportunity. So we do have some space on campus, and we will take good care of students if that ends up happening. But we want to make sure that students have the best care possible, and we will ask students to relocate if that's a possibility for them.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So our final set of questions kind of center back around on move-in. These are some that are coming in from our social media and things like that. So Chelsea, if you could help us out about accessible parking and how do folks go about that?
Yes, that's an awesome question and a great one. We will have accessible parking on move-in. So in our lots, there are handicap accessible space marked with ramps and everything to the sidewalks around them. So definitely check that out. If you are having a hard time finding that in the lot, ask someone at the Ask Me tent or someone working in the parking lot. They can definitely direct you to those spaces.
And this one is probably going to be our good and favorite question of the night. So folks have been asking, can I bring my fur baby with me to move in? And I'd say that's pretty important. My dog is like my child, and I think it's a valid question. So what do folks do? Can they bring their pets on move-in day?
We would advise against bringing pets on move-in day because pets are not allowed in the residence halls, and we wouldn't want a pet to be overheated or hot in a car. So that is one thing we would probably advise against, is to leave the fur animals, fur baby, fur child, your best friend at home and say bye to him before you head to campus.
He is really bent on having you be the bad person, like in this whole situation. Sean never takes the questions that really matter. So we have kind of asked all of our formal questions that folks have reached out about. Is there anything else that information-wise about move-in or otherwise that you all think the people watching need to know? Chelsea?
Well, so I'm going to interrupt. First of all, I will tell you that I would have let you bring your dog to campus. But again, Chelsea just won't. She's just too mean. But in all honesty, we want everybody to be safe with their pets. So that's, we do want you to leave your pets home. So I did want to mention one other thing about testing. One of the questions that we've been receiving is, if I test positive, do I have to immediately leave campus? Am I able to pack up my things? All that kind of stuff. And so, we will say we're obviously trying to limit exposure as much as possible. No, we're not going to make you get a positive test and then immediately make you leave campus. We're going to help you take some of those safety precautions, limit any exposure, gather your things, those type of things. So, again, we're keeping our student experience and our Hokies at the center of everything we're doing this year. And so we'll take good care of you. So just know that. And another question that's coming in is just about how I'll find out about the results of my test. And that is through our health center on campus, which is Schiffer Health Center. And they're the ones that are really coordinating the testing.
Awesome. Chelsea, did you have anything?
Yes, I would like to add in, if anyone's thrifty like me and loves a good find, we will have white toss on campus. So there are items you can buy that have maybe been slightly used by a previous student, like fans and rugs and other plastic bins and different things like that. Everything has been sanitized by white toss in preparation for their sale. But it's a great option. We also have local Habitat for Humanity in Christiansburg. If you ever want to check out that store, that's other great finds for your residence hall room. If you ever want a good thrifty find, just email lembust@vt.edu. I'll direct you in the right spots in the area.
Thank you for that, Chelsea. I don't see that we have any additional questions coming in. So again, thank you all for joining and being with us to learn a little bit more about moving. Oh, wait a second. I'm getting another one. Go for it, Chelsea.
White House is available Monday, August 17th through August 20th from 9 to 5 in the Castle Coliseum. I just felt like I should share the location. I talked so much about it, but it's important to know the details. 18th through the 20th, 9 to 5, Castle Coliseum.
Gotcha. And remember that you can visit our website, housing.vt.edu/move-in, and tap the name of your residence hall so that you can find out your step-by-step move-in instructions. Like we said, we are really looking forward to having you all come to campus. And again, for those that are going to be first-year students with us, welcome to the Hokie Nation. For our alum, we welcome you back to campus. Can't wait to see you. But again, we're looking forward to awesome move-in this year, even though it's going to be a little bit different. Our folks are still going to be energetic and there to welcome you in a way that is going to, start your year off right. So again, thank you, and check out our website and reach out if you have any questions. Take care.